on the analyst desk.
Thank you, gentlemen. TSM moving to 2-0 on the series, so very good for them. But I want to go all the way back to Champion Select Freak because we spoke about the importance of certain champions earlier in the broadcast. At the end of the first game, you had some bones to pick with Champion Select. Azir here going back over to TSM, and yet again another late game victory.
Yeah, so I'll start with the positives. I thought Dom did a much better job of snowballing the early mid game. 2 turrets to 0, minion lead for the AD carry matchup, really solid stuff, really solid ganking, really solid pressure. Props to Team Liquid, a lot of that got shaped up. But the problem is, what we're kind of seeing now in this series is very scrappy fights. And what I've been paying a lot of attention to, actually, is what the major carries of Team Liquid are doing. And Phoenix's, his Victor is often not doing much. Like, even though like it should be working, right? And you Sivir ult in an Alistar and a Maokai, and then you're just like, everyone hits R and you group up and win. The Sivir comp's not working. And you know, Bjergsen's disengaging well. A lot of things are going really well for TSM, but essentially, you have a really low uptime Sivir, just like you had a low uptime Cog, right? If you don't kill them during Maokai and Barrage, and with 3 tanks you don't, then, well, Cog doesn't do anything at 500 range. Sivir, similarly, has to respect Azir at all times. Azir vastly outranges her, and it's really hard for Piglet to stay up in a team fight. Lo and behold, the big carries of Team Liquid aren't really contributing in team fights anymore, and it's so hard for them to work through this, whereas as long as you don't screw up on TSM, Phoenix and Jinx can just hit people from 800 range away and never care about anything.
Yeah, and now, Zyrene, let's look at the way that TSM played this composition that they had, because as Freak mentioned, there were leads in the lanes for Team Liquid, but we're still very much seeing this proactive TSM that's okay with giving away dragons, but still making moves elsewhere.
Yeah, they're realizing where their power is allocated, right? They're saying we can hold off for the Azir, we'll outrange them with the Jinx. If we don't have any kills now, that's fine. They got slowly behind. But I want to touch on actually the top laners and the contrast of their TP plays this game. Because Quas was not on his game. There were 2 dragons where after they got it, they didn't have to fight. Yeah. They really didn't have to fight. Yeah. And Quas forced the fight both times where he ended up dying. And TSM, you can see Dyrus, they're regrouping on your screen right here. Dyrus, his TP that he had to the top side jungle netted them an advantage, and then I think that actually got them a Baron and a Dragon off of that play. Yeah. Like, the difference in how these top laners are performing right now was night and day in that game, and it made all the difference too.
And it's funny because I want to blame Quas for half of it, and I want to blame the team comps for half of it. Yeah. Because if Maokai, right, like pretend the Maokai and Gnar switch places, right, and Dyrus, or sorry, pretend the top laner switch teams, right, and Dyrus TP's in, Azir walls off the team, and they just kill off Dyrus, right? And Jinx does 1 million damage and all as well. When you TP onto the Victor and Sivir, and the Azir and Jinx can help, it's so much easier to be those top laners. And that could be the top laners not respecting the comps they're in or the comps they're against. But again, I still come back to the fact that Phoenix is a really good Azir, and he's not willing to play it at all. And unfortunately, Piglet does not have a high uptime AD carry. And, you know, I want to see a Tristana or a Caitlyn or a Jinx or something, someone that has guaranteed damage output in a team fight, because Mega Gnar is so scary and Azir is so scary that you can't really play a 500 range AD carry against these champions, against these players, because you just can't hit people anymore.
I want to jump into our replay, which is of the final fight of the game, if only to highlight more of what you're saying about these top laners, because for Team Liquid, as we get this up on your screen, for Team Liquid, Quas, not with the rest of the team. This wasn't a TP play, but a very odd choice by him to walk through the entirety of TSM to regroup with his team this late into the game.
This is the potential of 5th Dragon, and Piglet's down at the bottom of the screen, and then all of TSM is up on the left side, and Quas basically walks into them. So as we roll this replay out, you're going to see, I hope we get to see a little bit of Quas up in here, because everybody just jumps over on him, and it's Dyrus who's bait. Dyrus is throwing boomerangs to slow, make sure they can't get into the fight, and Dyrus practically staves off a 1v4.
Yeah, and this wasn't the first time we saw somebody on Team Liquid miss position. We saw earlier in the game Phoenix walking up through the Barren River, getting caught out occasionally. There's just, it seems to be a little bit of miscommunication from the team in the larger calls.
Yeah, there was that one Dragon fight which really stands out to me because it could have solidified even more of a lead for them, where Quas TP's in, and then everybody just ends up running at the flank, and then they all get zoned off by a Azir wall, they get zoned off by these ultimates, and they can't contribute. And also, Santorin threw a spear to attempt to steal the Dragon. It hit Dom, and it put Dom below half HP, and at that point, your shot caller should be like, this is a fight we don't take. We don't have to take this, we're fine. but Quas had already started it off.
And of course, the problem is that the team comp they put together has to team fight, right? Like, you can't out-poke Azir, you can't out-wave clear the Jinx, you can't out-pressure the Jinx. Maokai loses the matchup to Gnar. Like, at some point, Liquid have to either have immaculate dragon fight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and if that works, then okay. So I can almost understand going for the fights because you almost have to, but passively you do just start giving up the map. Like, that's just how the compositions sort of interact. So it puts you in a really difficult situation. And again, that could come down to pick a different comp, or it comes down to really pray that you get those exact 5 threats of team fights.
Take Azir.
Yep. Yeah. Well, both games going very late and very close. Team Liquid on the back foot, though, 0-2. When we come back, it is match point with TSM on the verge of securing their 6th consecutive appearance in the North American Playoff Finals. Don't go anywhere. Game 3 against Team Liquid is coming your way in just a few minutes.
Going into game 2, our second quarterfinals here for the North American LCS. Wow, nice dodge by Piglet. The flash and the spell shield out. Oh, are they going to be able to save him here? Piglet stays alive with just a sliver of health.
Nice.
Quas.
Keep going.
I can go here.
Keep going.
Good Dom.
Kill Dominate.
Alice,
Special. We can do Baron.
Nice
TP flank.
On the Jinx.
Jinx. Okay, Gnar. I'm trying to get out.
TSM's over the wall. They're on to Liquid now. That's Bjergsen trying to come up with a kill, but the repel comes out. Dominate lives for a second, but he's eventually going down in that one. TSM takedown Team Liquid for game 2.